Hi everyone, this is Noah Sandler, and I'm going to be doing another Modern Masters 284. So we'll jump into queue. Okay, there's Dismember. There's going to be the pick. Blink Moth Nexus is alright. Morpod, Spite Bellow is also decent. Passing Glint Hawk Idol. There's a couple moderately fine Elementals cards. A little bit of Affinity. And I'll probably see Throwing Bird come back. Okay, so Nest Invader, Mirror Smith, Shadow Mage Infiltrator, and Wayfarer's Bauble. I think this is kind of an interesting pick, because this member goes into any deck equally. I mean, Mirror Smith can be pretty strong in Affinity, but it's a bit more committing. Nest Invader leaves you more open. Shadow Mage Infiltrator, not as good here as it has been in other formats. It's a card I still like quite a bit, but it's also a 2-color commitment and puts you into probably the worst 2-color combination available. So I think I just take Nest Invader. I like green a lot as well. There's Goblin Fireslinger from that pack. Card goes super late, so I'll keep an eye on that because I do like the red Bloodthirst decks. Here we have Vampire Lacerator, Cathodian, Evolving Wilds, Rusted Relic, Baku. So pretty unexciting pack. Might just Cathodian because I'll make the cut regardless. I usually like making early picks on cards that have the potential to be really good. So I think something like Rusted Relic is worth considering. But Cathodian is just always going to make the cut. Is always going to be pretty good. So I mean, there's nothing here that is going to be like really strong in any deck, so let's take the Cathodian. Etched Oracle, Stormblood Berserker, both really good. And so far, Oracle probably fits a little bit better than Berserker, so I think that's going to be the pick, because all three of these cards go pretty well in 5-color. Like 5-color deck, where Berserker, it can go with Nest Invader and Cathodian and Dismember in the same deck, but I think it's a little less likely to. But I think it's a close pick, because both these cards are really strong, but I'm going to go with Oracle. Okay, we're going to take Wayfarer's Bauble here over Ulamog's Crusher. There's probably a decent red-white equipment deck going around, but Bauble will be pretty nice. Rampant Growth versus the Bauble. We have a Nest Invader. I tend to just prefer Bauble since you don't need green mana to get it to work, so you could be like a non-green base deck. So I think I'll take that here, but it's close to Rampant Growth. If you have green, Rampant Growth is definitely better. But you need the green on turn 2, so I think Bauble is a little more consistent. Combust, I think I'll just take Evolving Wilds. Help out with fetching Domain, even though getting a strong sideboard card like Combust would be really nice. And Simic Growth Chamber over Aether Snipe. Sort of a close pick. We've got Wilds, 2 Baubles, so we're probably looking at more of a domain-based 5-color. So bounce lands might be slightly weaker here. On the other hand, because we have so much search for basic, the penalty of having bounce lands for domain is lessened. So I'll just take the bounce land, but I think Aether Snipe's fine. It's strong enough in 5-color that I think you can take it, but I think bounce land is a little bit better right now. Bounce land also gets better with multiple Wayfarer's Baubles, because you could be on the draw, drop Bauble turn 1, and not have to discard, playing the bounce land on turn 2. So Trainee came back, Smoke Raider, Thrumming Bird, Vapor Snag, probably take Sylvan Bounty. We've got a ton of fixing so far. I think you could consider taking Throwing Bird. Goes well with the Oracle. We could pick up some Aquastrand Spiders, Sphere of the Suns. So there's some potential there. And actually, with as much fixing as we have right now, I'll just take the Throwing Bird just in case. So yeah, the Fire Center came back. There's a Carnarium versus Alloy Mirror and Mana Leak. I think I'm going to take the Carnarium. This helps with the Oracle. Alloy Mirror is decent in 5 color, but I like taking cards that take a land slot rather than spells. So I'm going to go with the Carnarium. The Mirror also dies to a lot of stuff for being a 3-drop. So the last rare came around. Take another Evolving Wild. So our fixing is really good from this point on. I mean, Etch Oracle is our current biggest threat. So we got to pick up some threats. Shouldn't be too hard since we have access to every color. So Skyreach Mantas, any of that kind of stuff coming around, we can pick up. Might hit a Brute Force from that Double Strike deck that might be around, but I'll just take the Rapid Flames. Could be okay sideboard if we don't pick up a Shrivel. Yeah, I think it's Flash Freeze. So Helium Squirter, we've got the Throwing Bird and Oracle. It could be a little bit better. But Flash Freeze is just definitely going to be a good sideboard card, where Squirter might be a good main deck card. And they're usually easy to pick up later, but Flash Freeze is always going to be a strong sideboard card. And I'm not holding out a ton of hope for the whole Thrumming Bird archetype, but it's a possibility. So I think we take Kozilek's Predator here, try to table the Mystic Snake. There's also Coatl. It's really hard to imagine there's 2 blue-green drafters in the draft, and blue-green seem sort of open. Seeing the Thrumming Bird go so late. So we'll start with the Predator. But I would really like to get that Mystic Snake. Bestial Menace. Take that over Electrolyze. Probably we'll see the Dragon Soul Knight come around. Okay, Wrecking Ball, Nest Invader, Selesnya Guildmage, Cathodian. It's a little bit off target, but I think I take Wrecking Ball. Guildmage, I don't think is at its best in 5 color decks. I think it's better when you have a lot of early creatures. You can start threatening to use the pump ability. And so I think we just take the strong removal spell, even though we don't necessarily have much black-red yet. I think it's pretty easy for us to be 5. So still sort of a close pick, but I'm gonna take Wrecking Ball. Plockworm, hell yeah, exactly what we're looking for. Burst Lightning here, strong pack. Burst Lightning over Predator, Spite Bellows, Sunlance. We have a Rootkin, I think. We've got the Throne Bird, Etch Oracle, so I could still take some Graph cards. There's also another Throwing Bird in this pack. I think I take it over Rampant Growth, though it might be a little close, but with the 2 Baubles, 2 Wilds, we've got a lot of fixing already. I wouldn't mind extra ramp, but I think we can just take some more powerful cards. And we get a Rampant Growth here. We'll take over a Graph Mage if we want to go really into the Proliferate archetype. There is another Throwing Bird. I think I just take a Plummet. I mean, I don't mind a small theme, but I think our fixing is so good that we're just going to have better things to do than try to do the Proliferate theme. So if I end up with a little bit incidentally, I'll be fine with that, but otherwise Like, I just think we'll do better off just taking the most powerful cards in the pack and not worrying too much about synergy. And Mystic Snake came back. Snap that up. I think the Quaddle was missing, so maybe there is a blue-green drafter or a 5-color drafter might have taken it, thinking that the double blue and snake was a little too rough. Also might go better in a Graph Proliferate deck. So this was a really strong pack, and in that late Plockaworm, Burst Lightning, some more fixing, more good creatures, the Menace. So we're looking pretty good for going into pack 3. So there's Gruul Turf, Dragon Soul Knight, Evolving Wilds. Not super excited about getting a 3rd bounce land right now. I mean, it's a lot of Evolving Wilds, but I think it might just be better than taking a bounce land. I'm not sure about that. Celestial Purge. Rampant Growth. We can take a Crusher. I think we're going to be good on fixing, so I'm just going to take a Crusher. Just to make sure we have enough finishers in case there's something weird happens next pack. I'll take the Graph Mage, but I don't think we're going to be doing much proliferating. I do expect that I can get at least one more good ramp card in the next pack. So, I mean, I have a lot of ramp in the deck, a lot of fixing. So that's why I'm not that interested in, like, while I might at this point play 2 Baubles, 2 Rampant Growths, I'd rather make sure that I get a Crusher, just so I have more finishers if something weird happens next pack, where I don't care too much if I miss out on more fixing. I think we just take Burst Lightning here over Predator, but Predator is a little close, so we have the Crusher now, but still think Burst Lightning is worth it. There's a Chalice, Primarch. Pretty unexciting, so we'll take the Chalice. I mean, it only adds colorless mana, can be nice with Crusher. A little bit of synergy with Throwing Bird, potentially. At the moment, probably not going to run the Throwing Bird, but worth noting. Okay, Sphere of the Suns, Aquastrand Spider, Cathodian, so it's between Sphere and Spider. So what does Sphere do for us? It fixes, has some, like a little bit of proliferate synergy, but I think our fixing is pretty strong right now. I think Spider, if we do run Throwing Bird, is going to be better. It's got some synergy with Rukin, so I think I take the Spider. Ooh, Savage Twister, wow. It's passing a Predator. That improves the deck quite a bit, getting a piece of mass removal. Probably take Vitae here, first Artifact Enchantment Destruction over Mana Leak. Guess a second Flash Freeze. All Suns Dawn. It could be good here. It's that or Dragon Soul Knight. Knight also looks quite good. In Dawn, we can get back a Burst Lightning, a random green card, maybe Dismember, maybe Wrecking Ball, maybe Mystic Snake, maybe Twister. I mean, we could get good value out of it. I feel a little bit short. Like, if we get back 2 cards, it's okay. I think I just take the Knight. But I might be a little overly cautious there. But like we don't have any white spells. Ooh, Electrolyze. That's really nice. That would make the Olsen's Dawn better for sure. And Predator came back over Fiery Fall. So now the Crusher's going to be really easy to cast. So this deck looks really strong. I think maybe Strider for board. Just don't think we're running too many Thrumming Birds. Hate an Ogre. And probably take Narcolepsy over Grasp. Hate Waking Nightmare. Hate Brute Force. And that'll do it. So, looks like a strong deck. Could maybe do with just a touch more top end. But got a lot of removal, picked up the Savage Twister, and a lot of fixing, so should be good. Might cut Chalice. Maybe main deck Vitae. 3, 4, 5, so we're at 24 lands right now. Chalice just might be unnecessary. So I've already got 3 ways, I guess 4 ways to ramp on turn 2 to 4, which is the most important one, and it doesn't give me any colored mana. I mean, sometimes I could ramp into Clockworm, but I need a lot of green. And I can ramp into Crusher, but I already have 2 Kozilek's Predator and like multiple bounce lands ramp, so Crusher shouldn't be that hard to cast. So I don't think I want the Chalice. There's not that much else that I do want to run. Blood Ogre. Maybe just throw Strider in. I could play a Thrumming Bird. Got 1, 2, 3 things to do with it. That's not really enough. Maybe Blood Ogre is okay. Or it might even be Strider. It's just not very exciting. 3, 4 for 4. I just don't think I want more mana sources in this deck. And I just need a card that can do something. Maybe Gorehorn Minotaurs. We're going to play a decent amount of red, so we could maybe get it to work. But it seems a little more consistent. Can also maybe block early. Could also like cut the Vitae. And try to fit in Thrumming Bird. Like I could go as much proliferate as possible, like Minotaur, Thrumming Bird. But it's just one Thrumming Bird. Like if opponent kills her, don't draw it. Like putting in weaker cards just because they have counters is probably not a great idea. So we got 5. I think I could run this. Don't really like the main deck Flash Freeze, don't like main deck Plummet. So I think it's Ogre or Strider. And Ogre can come down a little bit sooner. I'll go with Strider. Just a bigger creature. I've got a lot of ramps, so getting to 4 isn't too big of a problem. Alright, so let's figure out the mana base. We have a blue, a red, green, and black so far. We want a lot of green for Block a Worm and some double green stuff. Very light amount of black, so I think just one swamp. Do we even need a plains actually? We don't have, I guess we have the Dragon Soul Knight. And then the plains just helps with Etched Oracle. It's not a lot. Like, Etched Oracle is probably fine without running plains. So it's just the Dragon Soul Knight. So probably better off just cutting white entirely. Like, none of the bounce lands are white. Like, I can cut Knight and put in Minotaur and go a little heavier red. Maybe could cut Vitae, go for Blood Ogre 2. Maybe now that I have another 4-drop, I'll cut Strider for Blood Ogre. And if there's just one more card I could cut, I can get the Throwing Bird in, but I'm not seeing it. Is it the Vitae? Cut Vitae for Throwing Bird. Because Throwing Bird in any creature with a counter on it, that's pretty powerful. We can definitely clear the way with our removal. So it might be worth getting into the deck. I mean, Vitae is a fine main deck card, but sometimes it'll sit in your hand and not do anything. There's some matchups where it's not very good. So I think it is cuttable. So I'm not entirely sure this is correct. I think maybe Vitae over Throwing Bird, but at this point I think we do have enough things with counters on it that we can run this. Also Graph Mage, I don't think we want that. I think Ogre's probably better. So this seems good. Let's get mana base, 1 swamp is correct. Get some more mountains, I think. 3, 4 blue sources, 1. I definitely want one more mountain. 6, 7, 12. We gotta cut 1. This is 5, 6. We want a lot of green. Maybe cut 1 island. I do want red a little bit more than blue, so I could go 1 less island. And 5, 6. So yeah, this seems pretty good. Just 1 swamp for the Wrecking Ball and to help with Etched Oracle. Okay, let's run this. Okay, ready for round 1. We'll play first. Help out at bounce lands. Hand's fine. Got a lot of fixing in the deck, so it shouldn't be too hard to find a source of red. And until then, we have Nest Invader, and with the 3rd land, we can play Predator. Should be able to slow things down for quite a while. Okay, so this is the Finkel deck probably. There's a Cranial Plating, interesting. There's Bobble. Let's go Predator, and we'll just wait on the Bobble. Alloy Mirror. Rootkin. So we probably want to go with Rootkin. We could go Predator, Bobble, and then sack Bobble to get a mountain in a turn, using up all of our spawn tokens. But I kind of like having the bigger creature in play, and even if we do that, we'd have to draw land to kick at Burst Lightning next turn, so I think we're better off waiting. Plus we can graft onto the Predator next turn if we have the Rootkin in play first. With the plating opponent could be a blue-based affinity deck, maybe splashing black, or it could be a unique archetype. Opponent equips plating. Plays a 3-cost Chimeric Mass. So opponent can activate that. We draw a Forest. So Mirror is a 5/2. I should probably go for Predator, moving over a counter. You could even move over one to the spawn, but I don't think we want to do that. But we do have a choice. We can just attack with both of these, or we can attack with all. If we attack with all, opponent could just put the mass in front of the Nest Invader. But opponent would take 6 going to 7, and we could kick a Burst Lightning next turn, so I mean, having 3 creatures, opponent being at 7, they'd have to play another creature, leave up mana for mass, hold everything back to survive Burst Lightning. So that's a pretty good spot. Otherwise, we can attack with just the Predator and the Rootkin. Opponent might put Mirror on Rootkin, and then we're still in a pretty strong spot, but opponent has a higher life total. So, I mean, attacking with the Nest Invader does get 6 damage out of just the Nest Invader, and that's pretty huge with the Burst Lightning in hand. I don't think we're going to be able to get 6 damage out of Invader at any time in the future, so I think the correct play is just to send everything. And I am going to play Bobble. We might definitely be interested in moving or sacking all of our spawns to get red to guarantee Burst Lightning for next turn. Oh, actually, well, so the Invader wasn't necessarily 6 damage. Like, if we attack with both, we're still getting 3, so it's a little more complicated than that, but it's minimum 3 damage we get from it. So we'll play Bobble. We'll get to keep up for maybe moving over a Predator counter back onto the Rootkin. Opponent plays Mountain. I guess they could be like maybe Sunburst affinity. So maybe they have Manta's Etched Oracle type cards. Tribal Flames. I mean, sure, let's move over counter. Especially I want to get a red mana. This is too likely opponent's just making a big mistake here. Not knowing that I can make that play. Throwing bird. Alright, so I think we just send everything. Hopefully, I mean, I don't love trading Rootkin with the mirror here, but hopefully should be putting opponent to 4. End of the turn we can sack Bobble and then kick a Burst Lightning to the face. Hopefully that's good enough. And I mean, nothing terrible should be able to happen on this attack. If they play Vapor Snag, it is a little annoying. Okay, standard blocks. And opponent also has to deal with this Predator, so I mean, they have to leave up mana for a counter and deal with Predator. It's going to be pretty tough. There's Alloy Mirror. If they quit plating, they're dead. Well, they have another land, so maybe not. I don't mind playing around Mana Leak. I think we should be able to find a spot where we can beat it. So yeah, let's get a mountain. I guess, well, I mean, we do want to get the mountain, but Island for Throwing Bird would be nice also. Beastful Menace is fantastic. So let's jam with Predator. Menace can bait out a counter. So, okay, opponent's full domain affinity. I mean, plating is, just a bunch of random artifacts in a 5-color deck. Like, I guess plating's okay. Seems a little bit weird, though. Like, you usually don't want Bone Splinter type effects in a 5-color deck. So, they're certainly interesting, whatever's going on there. So yeah, Vitae definitely comes in. Opponent has a lot of artifacts. And Strider might be okay. Maybe just get rid of the Throwing Bird. Everything else looks pretty good. Blood Ogre. I mean, Waking Nightmare can be pretty good against 5-color decks. So I think I actually put that in over the Blood Ogre, which doesn't seem too exciting. Yeah, and I think I'm still fine with just one swamp. It's just I have a lot of ways of getting that black mana. And Waking Nightmare you want to cast when your opponent just has 2 cards in hand in a matchup like this, so yeah, this hand's fantastic. We go Bobble, and then not yet sure what our second turn play will be. Clockworm, very nice. Burst Lightning, so and since we're main phase, I think we'd prefer to just Rampant Growth here, rather than wait for Bobble. And we'll start with a mountain. Want to get to the triple green eventually, but we'll see what we draw over the next few turns, and hopefully we can craft this so we can get all types of mana by the time we get up to 7. Okay, Mirror. Something I'd like to kill if I brick out for turn. Carnarium, so yeah, I'll just Burst Lightning that. The opponent's on red, blue, red. Let me check if they played a different land earlier. Could be useful. Yeah, they played an island, so they have like all red and blue mana right now. So killing the mirror should be pretty useful. And I can actually just go for a Spider here rather than Bobble. And we can Predator next turn. If we Bobble, we get green. We play Predator. We might be able to get to Clockworm the turn after if we draw a green source, but I'm just going to go Spider, put a counter on Predator, go from there. And we can also use the spawn tokens to... You can just use one spawn token to sack the bauble for forest. So if we draw a forest next turn, we can guarantee a Clockworm the turn after. Wow, opponent's playing Citadel too. So domain and playing like non-basic colorless lands, kind of wacky. Gotta get that plating to full power. Electrolyze. So always note to opponent that bottom one. It really speeds up things for later. So move one over to the Predator, get the O1s, leave the counter on the Spider, then bauble for forest on opponent's turn. Opponent's still stuck on red and blue. There's an alloy mirror. I'd definitely love to kill that. Electrolyze could be pretty fun, so if we don't draw just a forest next turn, definitely gonna electrolyze that. I don't think opponent's going to double block, but I'm probably just going to attack with the Predator first and give them the option to do so. It's possible there's splashing removal that could take care of the worm, like Arrest or Spread the Sickness, and it can cast it off Alloy Mirror. So you sort of, even with the forest, you'd be a little tempted to still just go for Electrolyze. But I think, opponents tapped out of blue, they can't counter. I think it's worth just jamming the Clockworm. So they take it. Let's Electrolyze. I think like this, so we can get double green for Cytoplast Rootkin. This would be a great draw. Dang. Well, yeah, we have to use double red anyway. So, play the Swamp and pass. Excuse me, okay. Thought cast. And opponent played an island first. It's kind of strange. You think they're trying to draw into other colors of mana. Okay, they have Bauble. It's possible they have a counter up, but they're also just leaving up to sack for Bauble. But might like to just lead out with the Minotaurs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Land 8, 9. Yeah, I can just jump with spawn here. probably just go with Palaka Worm. And how likely is Mana Leak? Can't be that likely. And it does stop opponent from bobbling. So, yep, let's go for it. And it could also be flash freeze, but we picked up both the ones that we saw. No one seemed that interested in them. I think 7/7 is big enough. Mirror Enforcer. So could trade off the Blockworm for both, but you know, we draw a card. It's good. Get to play Minotaur after. It's a pretty strong play. But we could try to get a little greedy. We have a Savage Twister, so if we just attack with Predator and it gets through, we can play Minotaurs and then maybe Twister for 4 next turn, attack for the win. Could also attack with everything, so even if the opponent does make the double block for Palaka Worm, we still get in 5 damage, they go to 6, we play Minotaur. You could Twister for 4 and just attack for 7, but I think that's a little waste of a Twister. But I like the play where we just send everything. So we just attack with Predator, it gets through, we could go for Minotaur, that's pretty good. If the opponent blocks with Enforcer, then plays another good creature, we can't Bloodthirst here, so let's just slam everything. The card we draw can't hurt either. Burst Lightning, not bad. Alright, pass the turn. Should be able to take this here. Opponent's got 4 colors of mana. We got Burst Lightning, makes 2 creatures lethal. And then we can Savage Twister pre-combat too if opponent like made a bunch of tokens or something. This is Savage Twister. It'd be pretty brutal. I seem to be putting a lot of thought into this. A little confusing. I think Savage Twister, they just jam it for max. Maybe they're just playing a Manta. Peel, that's fine. So they just play a small creature, okay, Travel Flames. Still get in for 1, get to play Minotaurs, Bloodthirsted. And now the Aquastrand Spider's lethal next turn. Artisan of Kozilek. We can get back Mirror Enforcer. Let's grab Islands so we can cast Mystic Snake. Okay, so 1, 2, 5, 7, 8. Probably just send Minotaurs. Opponent could jump with Enforcer, but probably just blocks with Artisan, then we just Savage Twister clear the board. Yeah, it's probably the best play. Actually, it is better to just Twister for 4 and then attack with Minotaur, because if I attack first, opponent could just jump with Enforcer, then like attack back, play some stuff. So I actually just want to Twister right now. And this will force opponent to block. I mean, they would die otherwise. Let's see. I'm messing this up. Need to leave. Red up. Okay, so 4. I think playing land's fine, because we need 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Could use 6. Sphere of Suns. Does give them black mana, so I guess they have to. Well, they have Carnarium too. So they got full domain, they just have 1 card in hand. Shouldn't be that hard for us to finish them off here. Probably have a lot of outs. Wow. Let's see, play around Remand. Might have been the perfect card. Alright, that'll do it. So, yeah, opponent just had lands in hand. So yeah, opponent had the Affinity 5-color deck. Pretty interesting. I mean, I don't think it's very good, but haven't seen that done before, so yeah. Cool. On to the next round. See you then. Alright, ready for round 2. And we're facing Mr. Ninja. I've played them quite a few times. They're quite strong. We've got a nice opening hand on the draw. So Court Homunculus. You can probably ignore that for a little bit. You know, I'll run out a mountain just in case something dumb happens, but I probably just want to run out the Nest Invader and leave that in front for a while. Maybe use an Electrolyze on it later and save Burst Lightning for something larger. So they're either Affinity or some kind of equipment-based deck. Maybe both. Swamp's a little odd. Carapace. I mean, if if that gets equipped next turn, I'm gonna have to take 4. But I guess I could chump with the Predator and Invader tokens for a little while. So I think I do just take this hit. And it does force opponent to actually equip next turn. So draw Evolving Wilds, which is nice. Let's run out the Nest Invader, so I can get either Swamp or Island. Hopefully we draw one of them in the next couple turns, and don't have to decide too early, because both of these are going to be strong in this matchup, I would bet. So we can take 4 for now. Savage Twister. Not the most exciting card. Currently, at least. Well, hold on. Let's attack for 2 first. I could leave both back to offer up for the Homunculus, but I think I would just rather take 4. And attack for 2. I could even chump with a token this turn, I think. I mean, the block is a bit risky if opponent has... I mean, I guess there's not too much they could have, but anything would be kind of bad to have to lose both of my damage-dealing creatures just to take care of a 2/2. I mean, whatever creature opponent has equipped is not, it's not that important which one it is. Killing individual creatures isn't that great. This is kind of interesting, whether we want to be chumping yet or not. If opponent has some kind of unblockable source of damage like a flyer, then we might want to take advantage of the ability to chump currently. And then interestingly, if we want to do a small Savage Twister, our spawn are going to die anyway, but leaving the spawn in play might allow us to do a bigger Twister. So the Bone Splinters, okay. Just attacking for 4. I think I let that happen and see what they play. It might be like a skirmisher. Could maybe just wrap the board with Twister now. Sickle Slicer. So gotta go for wilds. I mean, I could jam with the Nest Invader, but it might be better off sitting back and chumping. Like, opponent either just blocks with the Germ, or they take it and then swing back, and I've got to chump with an extra creature. So I'm just going to sit back. And then, based on what opponent plays, I'll either get the Swamp or the Island. Okay, opponent moves Husk over. I hope they commit a little bit more to the board. But I'm willing to take a little bit of extra damage currently. Another Husk. Only 1 card in hand though. So let's get Swamp. Draw Minotaur. So I think it's just Evolving Wilds pass. Leave the spawn in play, I guess, but I don't know. Opponent could just equip something onto the Homunculus to keep it alive. What's going on? They pay 3. I mean, hopefully they don't have much mana left. So they move Carapace over to the Husk. That seems fine. Play Plains. And Husk over to Homunculus. It's also fine. This is a little confusing. I mean, actually, this way, we only need to Twister for 3, so yeah, I think we just go block, block. Search for island, twister for 3. Opponent just has 1 card in hand. We have a Wrecking Ball. And, I mean, we could get another mountain, but I think we want the island for Electrolyze. It's like Minotaurs could also be nice. But I think I'd rather churn through the deck a little bit. Okay, Growth Chamber. Well, okay, so mountain would have been nice. Yeah, let's twister for 3. Growth Chamber, back of Forest. Pass. Hopefully we get like 1 turn before opponent plays a guy and makes it big. So you can maybe run Electrolyze on something. We only have 1 red mana, that's kind of a problem. So we'd want to be able to like Burst Lightning and Electrolyze. Like if opponent plays a creature here, we can Wrecking Ball. If they play another creature, then we start to fall behind. If we have Frogmite, that's pretty annoying. So it's going to be like a 5/5, we'll have to Wrecking Ball it, and hopefully we can rip a mountain this turn. Mox Opal. So it's just a 4/4 actually. Oh no, Opal lets him put Husk on. Cathodian. So we could Wrecking Ball now. Don't think it's going to matter. If they have Apostle's Blessing, it's like a little worse if they rip it off the top. If we get to untap, we're looking really good. I mean, it's hard for me to think what, like, how we could get punished by, like, opponents just attack with Frogmite. And, I mean, I guess they could equip something, but yeah, maybe they could equip, try to protect from a Burst Lightning. I'll just pass. If they rip Apostle's Blessing, it's annoying. Hopefully they brick for 1 turn, because then we can leave up Electrolyze and feel a lot safer. And eventually, Palaka Worm or Bestial Menace could win the game for us. Alright, just jamming everything on. Let's go for Wrecking Ball. Ooh, that's Oracle. Use up our red mana. It's a little bit sketchy. But I think we just have to go for it. I mean, minimum we get to chump with it and draw a bunch of cards. Blue, green, red, black. And opponent has 5, 6 mana, so they might not even be able to get a creature big enough to get out of Burst Lightning range. Like, if they just play another Sickle Slicer, they can only get up to 4 toughness. And this does increase the clock. And also, we could just maybe just send both. Well, okay, opponent just passes, so this should just about do it. Raise the Alarm, we can beat. So I think we got this. So we'll just Electrolyze that. We can attack with both Burst Lightning, should give us the game. interesting we played against like two non-traditional affinity decks so far. I mean, normally it's like either mono white or base white with blue. Okay, Drew Crusher. So let's just jam everything, and Burst Lightning to the face should do it. Opponent is tanking, so I don't know, maybe they have something in their hand, like Grim Affliction, wouldn't be Apostle's Blessing. I mean, Opal gives them any color mana, but I'd still put them on just being white-black, probably. Okay, so centering Vitae, definitely getting in. Didn't quite see much for Plummet yet. Strider is alright. Waking Nightmare, probably not. Let's get the Blood Ogre Throwing Bird combo in right now. That could work okay, but we gotta cut something. So we probably want to remove the combo. And Strider is protection from Bone Splinters. 3/4 is like okay. It might stop something that's equipped, but not too much. So maybe we'll just leave it at this. We have had some trouble casting the Minotaurs, but I still feel like it's okay. Being able to get a 5/5 is pretty powerful. So let's try it. Okay, seems like a great hand. Let's go Wilds for Forest. It could be a little bit awkward. Since we go Island Spider. And the next turn, if we have to go for Carnarium, we're not going to be able to cast anything currently. And if we do draw an untapped land, then we'd be risking not being able to cast something on the turn after that. So being on the play would have made this quite a bit better. It's going to take a little while for all of our mana to turn on. If the opponent plays a Shikari, I'm probably just getting a Mountain. I don't know, I guess I'd have to strongly consider just getting a Mountain so you don't get run over. Mountain was a fantastic draw, so wow, yeah, that's really, that was perfect draw. So we get to go Spider. We can attack with Spider possibly if they don't have a Sickle Slicer. We do have a Sickle Slicer. Nest Invader, that could be pretty good. I mean, if we attack with Spider, they just block trade. It's not a good trade for us. So it's probably Nest Invader. Might just move the counter over. Helps us get a next turn for Blood Ogre. If not, a Predator. So I mean, with Savage Twister, there's some incentive to just make the largest creature you can. So like getting Ogre or Predator 4/4, and so we can Twister for 3. Rather than just having a ton of 3/3s. But if opponent has a removal spell, I mean, which they can't have too many of. I mean, if we put a counter on Predator and they arrest it, that's okay. If they Bone Splinters it, it's not that big of a deal. But it also maybe holds back the Sickle Slicer for a turn, and then again, might let us attack through the Sickle Slicer next turn. I mean, I would think an opponent probably has at least a creature to put in play. So maybe Invader isn't even getting in, so we just want to wait. So I think I'm going to wait. So we'll go always no, always yes, no, no, Carnarium on Mountain, and pass. Okay, Flare Husk. I'm probably going to move it over to the 2/2 Germ token to hold off. Okay, they play Frogmite. So we probably want to go with Predator and move the Spider token over. Would be nice to clear out some of these germs, but I think it might cost us a little too much. The opponent kind of just wants to load them all up on one creature anyway. I mean, a matchup like this can be kind of interesting because, on one hand, we're the 5-color control deck, so we have like lots of really powerful spells. So long game would seem to favor us, but their deck just has so much equipment that, in the long game, every single one of their creatures is a potential threat. So that balances out a little bit. I mean, I do have a lot of removal and various ways to chump, but if the game goes super long, each one, they just draw a random Frogmite and suddenly they have like a 6/6, and not all my draws give me something that powerful. But generally, the long game should favor us. I do think I want to be careful with the Savage Twister. It's just such a powerful card. I mean, my opponent's good. They know I have it, so they might play around it somewhat. But just clearing out like one creature and some germ tokens, even if I get in some damage with the Predator, I feel like I can probably do better than that. That said, if I have to clear the entire board, it may not actually work out so well. So I think it's pretty easy to just take the 2 here and slam back with the Nest Invader next turn. So we draw Rampant Growth. So we might even get the Ogre in play here. I don't know if opponent's going to chump with the Germ token. They're definitely not trading Frogmite. That would be really good for me. So they're either going to chump with the Germ token or they're just going to trade the 2 damage back and forth. Then we might as well go for Blood Ogre. Since we guarantee it this turn and we get to play Mountain, still leave up Burst Lightning. Could also maybe send the Spider too, but I don't know. As much as I do want to kill a Frogmite and I do want to get in for extra damage, I think Spider is just a little too important to split counters out. And maybe let me block flyers, because if opponent has like a Skirmisher, the 1/1 flying double strike, they're probably playing it with this many equipment. I imagine they have some number of flyers in their deck. Can't remember how many Bloodthirst creatures I played last game, but I'm not sure if opponent is going to be that worried about taking damage here. But yeah, I don't remember how many I played, if I played any last game. If I haven't, they shouldn't really put me on any. It doesn't really fit the whole 5-color archetype that well. So yeah, let's move counter over there. I am leaving up a mountain rather than a forest, so maybe it slightly suggests I have Burst Lightning. So Spider can maybe help me block the Idol. So I have Evolving Wilds. So Ogre, maybe Invader will come in 2, just trade for the Germ token. Opponent's stuck on 3 lands, so that has some value to it. And then maybe makes the Predator a little bit better for next turn. And I kind of think as nice as it is to be able to block the Idol potentially, I think I might just move the last counter from the Spider onto the Predator. So I've got 2 4/4s, and then on a future turn I could just clear the whole board. And let's leave up the mountain. So yeah, let's move it over. I mean, it certainly looks like I have burning here, but opponent not doing too much. Still stuck on 3 lands, no black mana. I mean, they've got all these equipment, but they're kind of awkward to use. Okay, Mirror Enforcer, probably got to Burst Lightning that. Yeah, probably go Growth Chamber here. Wilds does thin my deck, but I think it's a little more important to make sure I have a land play for next turn. Alright, I mean, opponents, okay, finally got to their 4th land. They can move Frogmite up to a 4/4, and then on future turns get it even bigger. Might be a good play. They go for Daggerclaw, Imp. So they're trying to race here? Equip Idol. I guess they might just want to put a bunch of equipment on the Imp. Definitely jumping with the token. Sundering Vitae, that's really good. So let's Rampant Growth. Getting a Forest. Play Evolving Wilds. Stack for 8. Opponent pretty close to dead. And I think we can do a lot of work with this Vitae. I might even get a little bit risky. Like if the opponent taps out or something, and it just leaves back Frogmite, we could just kill them with Vitae. We could also Twister for 2 to kill them. So this is actually really tough for opponent here. They only have 4 lands in play. I just don't think there's that much they can accomplish. They move Husk over. I think this is just game. So we'll take 5. Just passing. So just Vitae. And that'll do it. Okay, on to the finals. Okay, ready for round 3. This hand looks great. We've got the Spider plus Rootkin synergy, which is really nice. We could Rampant Growth, turn 2 possibly. Definitely have some options. Now the coolest thing that we could do would be to get Spider out, then Predator, grafting counter onto Predator, and then Rootkin. Because then we'd pump up the Spider and the Predator with the Rootkin's come into play ability. That's Oracle. I'm definitely going to Rampant Growth. Might just get Island, since it lets us Narcolepsy, helps with Oracle. It's a little more rare. Like it's easier to just randomly draw a forest. And I don't mind casting like a bunch of these cards before getting the Rootkin out. So I'm just going to go for Island here. You could also play Spider. It might actually be better, but if I draw a basic land, I think I just want to run Predator out. Drawing a Swamp would be pretty nice too. Yeah, we drew the Island. So yeah, just Predator. So that's one of the benefits of just going for Spider first, is that the very next turn, if I draw an island or a forest or a swamp, I can make my decision based on that. So I have Carapace Skirmisher. There's no more islands. Ugh, double green card. So let's Narcolepsy and Spider. I think that's the only other island in the deck, so it's a bit unlucky. But yeah, that play is kind of interesting. I mean, I liked, like, if we just draw a random land, I kind of like being able to cast Predator rather than go for a Spider, wait a turn to Rampant Growth and then Predator. So I don't know that it's a terrible play, but yeah, we did get punished with what I think is a one-outer. Okay, another Skirmisher. Let's put no to opponent's creatures and auto yield to my own. Hopefully, okay, Burst Lightning, that sucks. Really wanted that Spider in play. So Forest or Swamp. Mystic Snake. I mean, you gotta think opponent's gonna put Carapace on the Skirmisher here. So I think I just attack for 3 and jam Etched Oracle. I think it's just too likely opponent doesn't cast anything worthwhile. And Etched Oracle right now is actually pretty good, because I can get the Rootkin, puts it right up to 4, where it can sack to draw cards. Yep, they move Carapace. Hopefully they don't have anything too strong, like another good equipment to follow this up. Hopefully they just pass. They did pass. That's very good. Wrecking Ball. So if we get black, I mean black, green, both look really nice right now. But if opponent just taps out and plays something good, we can Mystic Snake and attack for the win. They still have potentially just like a 2-turn clock on us. So hopefully they tap out for something massive. I guess end of turn I'm probably just going to Mystic Snake either way. Just to try to get in for lethal. This is perfect. Boom. GG. Okay, so equipment, flyers, some burn. Definitely Plummet. Rapid Flames would be cute. Flash Freeze, definitely at least 1 and maybe 2. Saw 2 good red spells, but some of the really strong cards. I mean, the opponent's going to have some equipment, and so there's white flyers, so I don't want too many. Throwing Bird can definitely go. Ogre and Minotaur can probably go. So I could fit in Vitae, and maybe I'll just do 1 Flash Freeze, because like I don't want to have too many of them. They are just like a counter, which, you know, my deck has a lot of exciting things it can be doing, so I might not be able to leave up 2 mana that often. But this looks pretty good. We do have a little less red. We're a little less creature based, so we're more reactive, more removal. It seems fine. 2, 3. Now we kind of want to be even, but I think red is still a little bit more important. Yeah, we still have more uses for red mana, so I think this is fine. On the draw, hand's not bad. If we draw one land, we can bobble. Then we have Invader, Narcolepsy, and some strong mid-game stuff. So I'm considering keeping this. Just make sure that we're actually on the draw, which I strongly imagine we are. We are. Yeah, I think this is a keep. And got a little bit lucky. So definitely want to search for a forest. If we draw another forest, we'll just cast Nest Invader first. So double striker. So forest would be good, otherwise might need to Narcolepsy that. Growth Chamber. That's cool. So we can sack for... I mean, I do want to get another green. Like, double green is really important for our hand, but I think getting the first red might just be more important. I mean, we can go 3, 4, 5. We can actually go Bestial Menace next turn. So I think the play is to just go Swamp and Bobble. Or no, we can't do it next turn. We have to have Growth Chamber in play as well. So we can go Narcolepsy or sack Bobble. And I think this is the same spot where we actually kind of want to delay searching for a turn to see what we draw. So I think I do go for the Narcolepsy, even though it's possible we don't eventually want to deal with the Swift Blade. Like, maybe we can just throw Nest Invader in front of it, force opponent to put something on it. So it's not the most exciting thing to just throw the Narcolepsy out, but if we draw a forest, we search for mountain. If we draw a mountain, we search for forest. I think that's pretty important. Okay, Copper Carapace. Evolving Wilds. So opponent's going to have a 3/3 double striker in play. So I think we get a forest. Bounce land. Or no, we only get 4 mana next turn. We could go Rootkin, which could maybe hold back his double striker. So that's... we get another turn. We could Invader, jump for a little bit. Yeah, I think we get Forest. We could also Evolving Wilds. That doesn't make any sense. So we go Growth Chamber. Bring back the island. I guess we can Menace either way. I do like just going for Predator here and jumping with a token for a turn. Then we can Wilds for the mountain. I like to save Wrecking Ball for a flying threat and just keep jumping the Slaughtermaster for a while. Okay, Mortar Pod. That's annoying. So minimum takes out a spawn here. Then it might take out like a 1/1 from the Bestial Menace. Makes the Rootkin a little bit weaker. Yeah, I don't want to do the Wrecking Ball, so I think I jam for 3, play Bestial Menace, maybe induce opponent to move Mortar Pod over, sack to kill a 1/1. Which makes it not incredible, but it does take up the opponent's, like, probably the whole turn to kill like half of the Bestial Menace, we swing back for 6, get to play some more stuff out. So it still should work out pretty well. Otherwise, I mean, we get to chump with this 1/1. That's huge this turn. Opponent doesn't get the opportunity to mortar pod. So now we have a lot of damage coming back. They have Skirmisher, not a problem. Vitae, very good draw. Let's just, yeah, let's slam Rootkin. Well, first let's attack with everything. So I think we're going to have this game. So we can keep up Sunring Vitae here and blow opponent out with it. Block their Slaughtermaster, kill a Carapace, or and they do not really have enough mana to effectively do this, but they can move Carapace over to Skirmisher. If they have a Brute Force, that's probably their best chance of winning, is just move over Carapace, go for Brute Force, exact damage, and we'll use Vitae to keep ourselves alive. And then the next turn, we are dealing 8 damage to them, but we have a Wrecking Ball, we can kill their blocker. But they don't move it over, they just block with Slaughtermaster. So yeah, let's block Vitae. Could just concede. They could just concede here. Okay, Blades of Elisfell. And then just like post-combat, Mortar Pod means that they go to 1 next turn. Oh, wait. Oh, right, the double strike. My bad. So, it died from taking 2 double strike hits. But yeah, they move over Mortar Pod. For probably just Wrecking Ball the Skirmisher, attack with everything. Hard to see that going wrong. So it puts opponent to 1. I mean, what could they possibly draw? It's like Forest Savage Twister. I'll just pass. A Spectral Procession, we can still Savage Twister for 1. Alright, that'll do it. Got the big W, 8 packs and a QP. Can't complain. Deck was pretty powerful. I mean, we faced like artifact-based kind of equipment-y, or yeah, we faced like equipment decks basically every round. The first one was kind of wacky, like 5-color cranial plating affinity. Then we faced black-white like equipment affinity, and then just like the red-white token, the red-white equipment deck. So, I mean, I wonder, like, the other decks in the draft, like, that we saw 3 decks that were sort of fighting for some of the same stuff. So, cool. Hope you enjoyed it. And, yeah, see you next time. 5-color, good archetype. Just get the fixing, get a little lucky getting Savage Twister and Plocka Worm, and take all the removal. It's a good archetype. So, see you next time.